See, yes, live. So I couldn't grow my business because I kept pretending that I was doing fine. Hi y'all, thanks so much for joining me. In less than 15 minutes, I'll be sharing with you one support that you can use so you can stop pretending that everything is fine and actually be fine. Just checking to make sure everything is set up here. Yep, we are good to go. Drop me a comment if you want to learn more. I'm Dr. P. I'm a strategic business coach, and I've been a school psychologist for about 10 years in K-12 schools in the U.S. And I've also served on professional organization committees, and I've been a part-time professor for psychology graduate programs. As you join, you can say hi and where you're joining from. I am monitoring two things here. I got the Instagram and the Facebook going, so I'll be looking back and forth just to see if you have any comments and to be sure to respond to them as we go through. So earlier this week, I posted that quote that I mentioned, right? That quote of, I couldn't grow my business because I kept pretending that everything was fine. And I adapted that quote from Empowering Youth Therapy. I saw that they had a post that was related to therapy, but I realized if I adapted it, it was appropriate for coaching and for entrepreneurs. And all week I've been focusing on tips that you can use for your well-being and to help you avoid burnout, avoid that frustration, and actually start moving forward in your business and growing. So that's why I really wanted to end this week with sharing a tip, a suggestion, a support that you can use if you're not ready to go on that whole coaching route, that whole coaching journey, or even being a part of a peer advisory board, but just knowing that you have this support that you can utilize. So that's why I want to share this tip with you, this support with you today, so you can end your week on a good note. So, like I mentioned, the fact that you kept pretending, I kept pretending that everything was fine and my business wasn't growing, right? And the thing is, this is so true for many of us as entrepreneurs. We do this. Why do we do this? I don't know. Because think of it this way. How many times have people asked you, how are you doing? How's your business going? And then what do we say? We say, I'm fine. My business is fine. Everything is fine. But then you know for a fact that your business is not fine. You know that you're not doing fine. But you still keep saying you're fine. For some reason, we feel so compelled to tell people that we're doing fine because we don't want them to know the truth, right? You don't want them to know that things are tough or rough or, you're not moving forward. So you just say, hey, I'm fine. But why are we pretending, right? So here's my thought on that. We're pretending because we don't want to say out loud that we're not fine. That's the thing that we're doing. At least for me, that's what comes to mind in those instances when other people ask me, how I'm doing, and I say, yeah, I'm fine, and my business is fine. Because if you have to say out loud, right, you're acknowledging the fact that you're not fine, is becoming this reality that you're not fine. And it hits you hard because you're saying it out loud, you're admitting it, but acknowledging and accepting the reality that you're not fine is actually what I needed to be fine. Because you have to be open and honest with yourself. Because if you don't be honest about where you are, then how are you going to move forward, right? So it might seem strange, but give it a try. Say out loud whether or not you are doing fine. If you're doing fine, that's great, that's awesome. But if you're not, be honest with yourself. Just say out loud, I'm not doing fine in my business, and I'm not doing fine because, and then you fill in the blank. And you're going to feel a difference because now you're saying it out loud. You're hearing the fact that you're not being fine. So that's why this support I want to share with you is something to help you actually get to that state of feeling fine and actually being fine, so you can stop pretending. And this is a support that can help you with your day-to-day tasks, because there are tons of tasks that we have to do in our businesses as entrepreneurs. I get it. I'm in that boat right there with you. So that's why this is a resource that can help you with those day-to-day tasks. Some people say managing your day-to-day tasks, but for me, I look at it as staying on top of your day-to-day tasks. So this is something that also helps me to focus on those tasks, on those actions that actually connect with my strengths, and therefore I'm better at doing them and I can do them quicker, do it more efficiently and more effectively. So when you have that focus, you can focus on the things that you utilize your strengths, right? Because a lot of things that burn us out are those things that we find to be tedious, those things that we don't really find to be enjoyable or exciting. So that's why having this support I'm going to share with you, this is something that can help you move away from those tasks that you don't find enjoyable and towards those ones that you actually do enjoy, right? So that one support I want to share with you, if you haven't already known about it, is called a virtual assistant. If you haven't heard about a virtual assistant, then that's fine. I'll share some more information with you. And if you have heard about a virtual assistant but you're not sure what they are, no worries. You're in the right place, because we are actually going to talk about that today and why that's so important, right? So, for a virtual assistant, this is what it is. A virtual assistant is someone who assists you virtually. Very simple. That's all it is. That's what a virtual assistant is. And it seems simple, and it's something that's out there that many of us didn't even know exists. Because if you're like me, before you became an entrepreneur, you worked in an organization, you worked for a company in a building, a brick and mortar building. And when you went into that building, the first thing you saw, was that front office, and there was always somebody sitting there at that front desk, right? And if you worked for a company and you had multiple floors within your building, you knew as soon as you got off that elevator, you turned the corner, you were greeted by a person sitting down by a desk, right? And in the schools, call them executive assistants, administrative assistants. Some organizations and businesses refer to them as secretaries or office clerks, office assistants. There are different titles for them, but when you're working in a brick and mortar environment, that's what they're called, by those multiple titles. And these people, at least like in schools, those weren't just the people who greeted you when you came in, but those are the people who knew everything in the school, knew how to find whatever it is you were looking for. Those were the people who handled the incoming and the outgoing mail. I know it sounds simple, but sometimes where you put your mail so the postman can actually pick it up and take it out of the school is not always clear, right? So you had this person who dealt with the incoming and the outgoing mail. They were the person who took care of the copying machine. Because if you remember working in a business office, the copying machine went down, you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Then you come back around a few hours later and it's up, it's working. Why? Because you had that office assistant, you had that administrative assistant, that executive assistant who took care of it. They called the person who dealt with the copier, they came in, they fixed it, and you just was able to come back and find a working copier. You also had that person who can answer any phone call and direct people to wherever they needed to be. So they had the directory for every single person in the organization, every single person in the building. So when you call and you were looking for a certain person, they could connect you to that person. So for all the staff, they can tell you their names, they can tell you their room numbers, they can tell you their phone numbers or extensions, and they can even give you their email. So again, yet another task that people who work in your office, those administrative assistants, that's what they did. And if you needed a copy of that directory, they were the person that you went to, so you can actually get a copy of that directory, right? And they're the person who also may make some copies for you. They handle the faxes that came through. They sent them for you, or they received them on your behalf. They kept that information there for you. And in the schools, yes, the principal and all the administrative staff work on the schedules, but sometimes it was the office assistant, that administrative assistant, who actually put it into Word or Excel or whatever it was, made it all pretty, and then disseminated it to everybody, right? So they were the person who knew a little bit about Microsoft Word and Excel and PowerPoint. They were able to design different things that was sending out information to the staff. An event was in the school, they were the person involved with planning, help with planning of the event, making sure certain rooms are open, making sure the custodian was aware of what needed to be cleaned, what needed to be put where, how it was supposed to be set up. Then in terms of doing labels on envelopes, those were the people who knew how to do the envelopes in the printing machine, in the copier, in the printer. They were the ones who did the labels for you, because doing labels and printing envelopes in the machine is not very simple, and they're the ones who can help with it. Talk about using different size paper. They were there to help you with all of these different things. So I'm sure you're getting a picture by now of what that executive assistant, that office assistant, that administrative assistant did in there, and you can think about your own experiences before you started on your entrepreneurial journey. That person who had all the answers to the questions you had about where to find what can hook you up with all the different resources that you needed: paper, pens, folders, staplers, paper clips, binders, how to get a hold of the custodian. They did all those things, but then when you became an entrepreneur, you didn't have that person, right? You're now by yourself, and now you're like, oh, okay, I need to make copies. I need to design this table. I need to design this database. I need to design this PowerPoint. I need to contact, this company about web design. I need to contact this company about marketing. I need to contact this software company about doing certain things on my social media. Oh, I need to maintain my social media. I need to actually put out some posts on social media. I have my content calendar, but I need to actually put them out there. So it's all these different things you have. And maybe if you have things to mail, you gotta go to the post office, you gotta go to the bank, you gotta make all these different runs, and it's all those things that you're doing. But those are the day-to-day tasks that actually are the functioning operational parts of your business. Because if you have products or services, you are looking at designing your product, designing your service, and making it better. That's where you should be focusing. If you are the entrepreneur running your business, you should be focusing on those things. But those other day-to-day things pull away from it, and they're tedious, but they have to be done, right? So this is where that virtual assistant can come in to help support you. And they're usually a self-employed person, independent worker, independent contractor, however you look at it. And they can, even though they're virtual and working remotely, they can still answer your phones. They can respond to some introductory emails or some emails from people just inquiring about your services, trying to get connected. They can respond to some of those emails for you if you give them the necessary training on what you want them to be able to say, and also setting up where the phone calls are routed to them. Then they can help you with your calendar, scheduling appointments for you, and making sure that everything is on your calendar. Hell, they can even order your lunch for you so it can get delivered, because sometimes you get really busy and you forget to eat. So they can set it up where, you can set it up with them where they have access to whatever they need to, so they can order lunch for you, or dinner, or breakfast, or whatever it is. Maybe even some coffee if that's what you want. But the point is that this person can help take away that pressure that you're feeling, that frustration of trying to stay on top of all of those tedious day-to-day tasks that are burning you out and are not getting you to move your business forward. That's where this virtual assistant comes in. And they have such a wide variety of skill sets. As I've already hinted to it in this video, they have a wide variety of skill sets. And they have skill sets too that include, website building, website design, graphic design, helping you with a blog, doing some accounting, some bookkeeping, even helping you with social media. Point is that when you do your research for a virtual assistant, look for the ones who can give you what you're looking for. Look at those tasks that you have to complete. Make a list of all those tasks that you have to complete on a day-to-day basis. And then pull out the ones that you truly need to be spending your time on, and look at delegating those other tasks to that virtual assistant so that person can help you out. Because it's all about moving your business forward, growing, being efficient and moving forward. And at some point in time, yes, you have to delegate. You can't do everything yourself. You do have to delegate and get those tasks done and keep your business moving forward. So here's my thing. Stop pretending that you're doing fine and get the virtual assistant so you can truly be fine and grow your business and to be moving forward. So drop me a comment if you want to learn more. If you got value from this video, feel free to share. Thanks so much for joining. Remember, solutions plus actions equals results. Bye, y'all.